Police arrested 2 people in connection with the slaying of renowned Migos rapper Takeoff, who was an innocent bystander when he was fatally shot last month, Houston authorities said Friday. Patrick Clark, 33, was arrested Thursday on a charge of murder, Houston Police Chief Troy Finner said in a news conference. "We were able to deduce that Patrick Clark is the lethal shooter in the case, and that's why he's being charged with murder," Houston Police Department SGT Michael Burrows said. The other suspect, Cameron Joshua, was arrested November 22 on a charge of unlawful carrying of a weapon, the chief said. "He was there on the scene, and he was in possession of a weapon," Finner said. "He's a felon." News of the arrests came 1 month after Kirshnikari Ball, known professionally as Takeoff, was killed on November 1 outside a downtown Houston bowling alley. He was 28. Officials said Takeoff and Quavo, 31, another member of Migos, were at a private party at 810 Billiards and Bowling. Gunfire erupted near the entrance after the party ended, police said. Takeoff died due to penetrating gunshot wounds of head and torso into arm, according to a Harris County Medical Examiner report. During Friday's news conference, Burrows said an argument outside of the bowling alley following a dice game led to the shooting. "I can tell you that Takeoff was not involved in playing in the dice game, he was not involved in the argument that happened outside," Burrows said. "He was not armed, he was an innocent bystander. Definitely wrong place at the wrong time, no evidence whatsoever to say anything different," Finner added. Police would not discuss if Clark and Joshua knew Takeoff or if they were invited to the private party. The shooting remains under investigation, according to officials. Takeoff was the youngest member of Migos, the rap trio from suburban Atlanta that also featured his uncle Quavo, real name Quavius Keate Marshall, and a cousin, Offset, or Kiari Kendrell Cephas, 30. Migos emerged as a group in 2008 but didn't make it big until 2013, when it released its massive hit Versace, which became even more popular when Drake appeared on the remix. The group had 4 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, although Takeoff was not on its multi-week No. 1 Bad and Bougie, featuring Lil Uzi Vert. Migos put out a trilogy of albums called Culture, Culture 2 and Culture 3, with the first 2 albums hitting number 1 on the Billboard 200 album chart. Takeoff also released a solo album, The Last Rocket, in 2018. Reactions of shock and devastation poured in from fans and musicians alike when news broke of his death. "I got the best memories of all of us seeing the world together and bringing light to every city we touch," the rapper Drake wrote, captioning an Instagram photo of him and Takeoff on stage. "That's what I'll focus on for now." Chance the Rapper shared a photo of himself with members of Migos on Twitter, writing, "It goes without saying that I'm broken-hearted and confused, but I have to say Take is a one-of-a-kind friend that would always acknowledge you, always make sure you was good, and would always tell you keep God first. Man, I wish I had more times to see you on this earth." 1 month before his death, Takeoff danced alongside Quavo at a listening party for their new album, Only Built for Infinity Links. The new album was supposed to be the next step in Takeoff's already illustrious career. "I spoke to Takeoff's mother early this morning," Finner said Friday. "We lost a good man, and I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him, but everybody, the hundreds of people I talked to, spoke on what a great individual he was."
Rogue wave kills American woman, injures 4 others on Antarctic cruise ship. A U.S. woman died and 4 other passengers were injured when a massive wave smashed into an Antarctic cruise ship during a storm as it sailed off the southernmost tip of South America, officials said Friday. The 62-year-old woman was hit by broken glass when the wave broke cabin windows late Tuesday, Argentine authorities said. The Viking Polaris cruise ship was sailing toward Ushuaia in Argentina, the main starting point for expeditions to Antarctica, when there was a rogue wave incident, a representative of the Viking Cruise Company said in a statement. It is with great sadness that we confirm the guest passed away following the incident. We have notified the guest's family and shared our deepest sympathies, the statement said. Neither the Viking statement nor the Argentine Naval Prefecture identified the woman or her hometown. In a statement to CBS News, a U.S. State Department spokesperson confirmed the death and offered condolences to the family. We are offering all appropriate consular assistance, the spokesperson said. Out of respect for the family during this difficult time, we have no further comment. 4 other tourists sustained non-life-threatening injuries and were treated on board, the cruise line said. We wondered if we hit an iceberg, Susie Gooding, a passenger from North Carolina, told WRAL-TV. And there are no icebergs out here, but that's how it felt. Gooding told the station that the impact of the wave was shocking. Everything was fine until the rogue wave hit, and it was just sudden. Shocking, Gooding said. We didn't know if we should get our gear ready for abandoning ship. The ship suffered minor damage and was anchored off Ushuaia, 3,200 kilometers from the capital Buenos Aires, with several windows smashed on the side, AFP journalists reported. Viking said it was investigating the facts surrounding this incident. Scientists often refer to rogue waves as extreme storm waves that surge out of nowhere, often in an unpredictable direction, and can look like a steep wall of water, up to twice the size of surrounding waves. These rare killer waves were once seen as a myth reported by mariners or explorers. The polar explorer Ernest Shackleton wrote in his book of a gigantic, freak wave he encountered in Antarctica in 1916. However, scientists have learned more about them in recent decades, studying how they emerge and how to predict the wall of water that can surge up even in calm seas. The Viking Polaris was launched in 2022 and is the newest ship in the company's fleet. The incident comes 2 weeks after 2 tourists died on another Antarctic cruise. The 2 men, aged 76 and 80, had left the World Explorer ship for an excursion on an inflatable Zodiac boat which overturned near the shore.
William and Kate seek to end U.S. trip on positive note after turbulent week. The Prince and Princess of Wales are due to end their 3-day trip to Boston on a high note, having landed in the middle of a palace racism row and then been blindsided by a trailer for the Sussexes documentary. A meeting with Joe Biden and a star-studded award ceremony for Prince William's Environmental Earthshot Prize were scheduled to round off what could be described as a bumpy few days. On Friday evening, William met the U.S. President, shaking hands and chatting near the John F. Kennedy Memorial Library and Museum. PA Media reported that Biden joked about William wearing just a suit as opposed to a winter coat in the chilly weather, asking, "Where's your top?" William replied, "Mr. President, nice to see you again." The Prince of Wales also met Caroline Kennedy, the late president's daughter, and paid tribute to the man who inspired our mission, with his moonshot speech in 1962 that set the U.S. on the path to reach the moon. The Royals Prize is designed to recognize a similar level of innovation. The Earthshot ceremony later on Friday, where Billie Eilish will lead a lineup including Annie Lennox, Ellie Goulding and the Beyoncé protégés Chloe X Halle performing at the MGM Music Hall in Boston, will bring to a close the Wales' first visit to the U.S. in 8 years. Headlines and TV bulletins, though, have inevitably been about the royal racism row that engulfed William's godmother, the former lady-in-waiting Susan Hussey, which again resulted in the monarchy being accused of being institutionally racist, and about that Sussex trailer. William and Kate were in the air, en route to Boston, as Lady Hussey resigned her honorary role after what Buckingham Palace described as unacceptable and deeply regrettable remarks when asking the black charity founder Ngozi Fulani about where she really came from, at a palace reception. Then, on their second day in the US, came the online release of the one-minute teaser for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's forthcoming Netflix docuseries, complete with photographs of Meghan apparently in tears and a thunderous-looking Kate. For the Wales's part, a Kensington Palace spokesperson reiterated comments made before the visit that the couple would not be distracted by other matters this week, and their focus was on meeting communities and local people across Boston. But reports from those on the ground with the couple indicated this may have been something of a challenge. The Times suggested the Sussexes had deliberately torpedoed the visit, saying the mood within the Wales camp was one of resignation, even amusement, rather than anger. The Mail proclaimed it a declaration of war by the Sussexes. Sussex sources, meanwhile, have reportedly put the provocative timing squarely at the door of Netflix. While in Boston, where crowds braved the cold and rain to greet them, the Prince and Princess have visited budding environmental tech entrepreneurs at Greentown Labs, and a very chilly Boston waterfront area threatened by rising sea levels. They also visited ROCA, a non-profit organization focusing on urban youth violence, and sat courtside at an NBA game between the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat. The Princess also visited the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University. At the Earthshot Awards, now in their second year, 15 finalists are vying for £1 million awarded to each of 5 category winners. They include a cleaner type of stove in Kenya and a bubble barrier in the Netherlands that prevents plastic entering oceans. Harry and Meghan are not expected to attend the Environmental Awards on Friday. They will, however, be flying to the East Coast next week to attend the Ripple of Hope Human Rights Awards in New York on Tuesday, where they are being feted for speaking out about the alleged racism they experienced as part of the royal family.